The lecture hall was massive, floating high in the skies of Zarnith Prime. Hundreds of alien students filled the curved rows, their voices echoing off polished crystal walls. Hovering screens blinked softly. Temperature was adjusted for every species. Some students needed cold fog, others dry heat, and a few sat in personal bubbles to survive the oxygen-rich air. Professor Kren, an ancient Zeltran with skin like stone and eyes like dim stars, floated to the center of the room. Her robes shimmered with the symbol of the Galactic Education Council. The students instantly went silent. This was not a normal lesson today. She began, her voice like a soft vibration in the bones. We speak of a species no longer welcome in our institutions. The air grew still. Curious glances passed. Between students, they once applied to this very university. They were rejected. They were warned. And after what they did, they were banned. Completely, whispers began. Some students smirked. Others leaned forward. Professor Kren turned slowly, her fingers weaving an old hologram from thin air. A star system appeared. A blue planet. Earth. Humans, she said, pausing. Removed from all galactic academia under Law 9.73. No university may accept them. No knowledge may be shared with them. They are not ready. And that's when the laughter began. A tall student with red feathers from the Varnax Empire raised a sharp hand. You mean the violent apes? He asked. Ones who blew up half their own planet before they discovered faster than light? Another snorted, her gills fluttering. My uncle fought them once. Said they screamed during battle like animals. Even the calmest ones smiled. The idea of humans being part of their high-level universities seemed like a joke. They tried. To join us? One laughed. It's like letting a volcano into a library. Only one student remained silent. Her name was Alira. She was from the Levrin, a species known for emotion sensing. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes always shifting color, and right now they glowed a soft gold, the color of fear. She was not laughing. Professor Kren did not stop the laughter. Not. At first, she simply raised one hand and waited. When the noise quieted, she spoke again. You laugh, she said softly. But that laughter is not shared by the council. A new symbol appeared. A blinking triangle. Old, corrupted, yet still active. Archive record. Classified level Omega. The students leaned in. This file is not shown in most lectures, Kren said. But I believe education must carry risk. Today you will see why they were banned. Hologram shifted. A warning message flashed. Warning, this footage contains live combat. Viewer discretion advised. More laughter came, but now, nervous. Kren turned away. She left the center of the room and walked toward her chair. As she sat, she whispered to Alira, watch their faces. The screen went black. Then, a gray landscape appeared, ashes falling. A ruined city stood broken under an alien sky. The camera zoomed slowly, shaky and damaged. It showed burned council tanks, wrecked drones, shattered walkers, and then movement. From the smoke, human soldiers emerged. They walked calmly, dirty, injured, but with eyes wide open, focused. Each held weapons not standard issue, modified, personalized. One wore a bandage made from part of an enemy banner. The students watched. Silently, the video zoomed in on one human. A man, no helmet, scars across his cheek, eyes dark as space. He looked into the camera, then smiled. Some students shifted in their seats. He looks calm, someone whispered. The image changed again. Overhead footage now. Humans were outnumbered. 3-2-1, the Council Army. Approached from the south, fully armored, bright and powerful. The students watched as the humans didn't run. They didn't dig trenches. They didn't even raise shields. Instead, they stood in formation, exposed, and then they turned their weapons off. What are they doing? A student hissed. That's suicide. On the screen, the council commander gave the order, full assault. Skies lit up. Thousands of energy blasts poured down, but none hit. Instead, the battlefield exploded with mines, underground charges, sensor disruptions. The Council tanks froze mid-fire. Their drones spun wildly. Out of control, AI systems began shutting down. "Wait, how?" a student gasped. "That's not in the tactical logs." The camera showed humans running now not away, but into the chaos. Each soldier moved with a strange rhythm. It's not random, calculated. They weren't just fighting, they were hunting. One alien student stood up, shaking. "That's impossible. Our simulations said they were too chaotic to strategize like this." The footage kept playing. More Council forces fell. Not from brute force, but psychological breakdown. Panic spread. They were seeing something no algorithm predicted: coordinated madness. Ruthless calm, and always silence. The humans never spoke. No yelling. No music, no war cries, just movement, just death. The camera showed the same scarred man again. He kneeled by a dying council officer. Then he said it clear, cold. "You banned us, because you were afraid we'd learn more than you." The video cut off silence in the hall. For the first time, no one laughed. Even the arrogant Varnak student sat frozen, eyes locked forward. Sweat formed on his crest. Professor Kren stood slowly, her voice quiet but firm. "That was one battle," she said. "There are dozens more. But the truth is not in their weapons. The truth is in their will." She turned the screen off. No other species in recorded history has ever won that battle scenario. Only humans, no formal academy, no fleet backup. Just strategy, instinct, and something else, Lyra whispered. "They call it rage, but it's something colder than that." The professor nodded. "It's the moment a human chooses to survive, not because they hope to win, but because they refuse to lose." A nervous voice called out, "Is there more footage?" Professor Kren paused. "There is, but I won't show it now. Not until you understand what you saw." Another student spoke, quieter this time. "So they were banned because they were dangerous?" "No," Kren replied. "They were banned because we didn't know how to teach them, or how to stop them if they stopped listening." The class ended with no dismissal. Students walked out in silence. Only Alira stayed. Behind, she walked up to the terminal. She didn't speak. Her fingers moved quickly, searching through the hidden archives. She bypassed the warning. Another file appeared. Classified. File 2. Human retaliation locked it, blinked, and then, without her touching it, it opened. The screen flashed red. Part 2. What we did after they attacked our children. Alira's skin turned pale white, her eyes golden again, and deep in the corner of the hall. The old surveillance drone long believed broken blinked back to life. Someone, somewhere, was watching. The screen stayed black for a moment. Then, without warning, it lit up. The video didn't begin with sound, just images. A distant planet, dim and cold, rotated slowly under a pale sun. Orbiting high above it, a single human ship hovered in silence. It was not large. It had no markings, no flashing lights. It didn't shine. It simply existed like a shadow. The video zoomed in slowly. Its hull was damaged. Burn marks, cracks, patches of alien metal bolted in by hand, yet it floated with perfect balance. No drones surrounded it, no escort inside, dim emergency lights. Blinked, a hallway, blood on the floor, boot prints leading toward the command deck. A silent voice echoed on screen. "After they attacked our children, we stopped holding back." Lyra stared at the screen, frozen. The rest of the lecture hall was empty now. The other students had left. The professor had vanished. Only the terminal glowed in the dark, its light reflecting in Alira's wide eyes. The video shifted again. A human soldier stood in the command room. Female, short hair, burned uniform. One arm missing, replaced with a metallic frame. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned like suns. She stood alone. Behind her, a wall displayed a council fleet, thousands of ships approaching a colony marked civilians only. Human children present. The fleet was not slowing down. The voice continued. They thought it was a rebel base. They thought children wouldn't fight back. A second video loaded instantly to angles now. Side by side, one showed the Council fleet's command deck, the other showed a human nursery, small children, maybe 7 or 8 years old, hiding under tables, crying, holding hands. A quiet recording played. "If this message reaches Earth, tell my father I wasn't afraid." Then came the sound, loud, real, the Council fleet opened fire, and the sky above the colony went white. Alira's hand flew to her mouth. Her skin turned a pale, silver 11 reaction to grief. The nursery feed shook. Fire burst through the door. Screams, then dash silence. The screen cracked with static, and from that silence came the return signal. The human ship moved. Not fast, not sudden. Quietly, the Council commander on the other side watched with a confident smile. "They have one ship. They'll run," he said. But the human ship didn't run. It vanished. A blink gone. Then, right behind the Council fleet, alarms screamed. "Vessel detected inside rear ranks. Unauthorized entry." The commander spun. On screen, the small human ship had jumped behind them. No jump trail, no warning. And then NIT fired. Not missiles, not lasers, but something worse. A single pulse, invisible, and thousands of ships went dark, not destroyed. Not exploded, dead, like someone had turned off their stars. The commander screamed for backup. Too late, inside. The Council flagship screens failed, lights went out, and then a message appeared across every system. "You heard our children. You meet our silence." The human ship drifted closer. Then the camera inside showed something else. A boy, maybe 10 years old, inside a cryopod, alive. And next to him, note, "You killed the rest. We'll raise this one with fire in his blood." Lyra stared at the boy. He opened his eyes. They were red, not human red. Engine red. Modified. Born in war. The video ended, but Alira didn't move, because now, behind her, someone was there. A soundless step. She turned fast, her heart racing. Professor Kren. But her face was pale. Shaken. "You watched it," Kren whispered. "You weren't supposed to?" Alira nodded slowly. "Why? Why was it hidden?" Kren looked away. "Because the truth is not what the Council tells us. They say humans were banned for their violence. But the truth is," she stepped closer, "they were banned because they started winning without weapons. Their minds, their hearts, their madness doesn't follow logic. It bends it." Alira asked softly, "Did they really send only one ship?" Kren nodded. "One ship, one crew. They never built armies again. Didn't need to." A long silence followed. Then Alira said, "There's more. I saw locked files. One was marked. Trial footage." Kren's eyes narrowed. "You want to see the moment they were banned officially?" "I want to know the full story." Kren didn't reply. Instead, she raised a small crystal from her sleeve. It floated and blinked. The terminal screen reacted. Immediately. Accessing. "Trial footage, Council v. Humanity." Kren's voice was low, almost like prayer. "Then be ready, because this is where the galaxy changed." Far away, in the heart of the galaxy, hidden inside a massive black structure, older than most stars, signal activated. For centuries, it had slept. Now it was awake. It showed a list of names. One name blinked. Alira accessed level 0 footage. A voice spoke inside the machine. "Another one is watching. It begins again, and deep beneath the surface of Earth. Long thought abandoned. Something shifted. Not a weapon. Not a fleet, just a chair facing a screen and a heartbeat." The courtroom was silent. Not the kind of silence that comes from respect, but the kind that comes from fear. The kind that sits heavy in the air, pressing on every chest. It's making it hard to breathe. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with leaders, hundreds of them. Representatives from every major species. Their robes sparkled, their faces serious. No one laughed here. In the center stood a single human. No armor, no weapons. It's just a black uniform, torn at the shoulder. His wrists were locked in glowing blue. Restraints? He didn't move. He didn't need to. He stood like a soldier who had already won. Elira watched from her seat in the observation hall. The video was not a reenactment. It was real. It's the original court footage, hidden for decades. Only Level 0 access could unlock it. Professor Kren sat beside her. She said nothing. Her eyes remained locked on the screen. A loud voice filled the chamber. Commander Elias, Reign of Earth. You stand before this council to answer for your actions during the Torsen incident and the destruction of Council Fleet Omega-7. The human didn't blink. A tall insectoid judge clicked its mandibles. You disobeyed direct orders. You retaliated without waiting for a council response. Used technology that violates Article 3.5 of the Intergalactic War Code. Still, Elias Reign said nothing. Another judge, a glowing mist, being spoke. You understand that your actions could have started a war. A war Earth cannot win. Finally, the human spoke. I didn't act for Earth. Silence. He looked up, meeting their eyes. I acted because you targeted our children. One of the judges stood, his tentacles shaking with anger. You were told the council believed the colony was a threat? That's a lie, Elias said. He said it simply, coldly, not like an angry man, but like someone who had accepted what was coming. Elira leaned forward. The human commander continued. You needed a reason to remind Earth of its place. You used fear, you used protocol. You thought we'd bow. You took a breath. We didn't. Duh. The courtroom grew tense. A small screen lit up beside Elias. A projection of the destroyed colony appeared. Fires, smoke, cryopods cracked open. Children gone? You said we were too dangerous to be part of your schools, Elias said. You said we were primitive, violent, emotionally unstable. He looked around the chamber, but it wasn't our violence that scared you. It was our restraint. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Elias walked forward. The guards didn't stop him. You've seen what we can do with one ship, he said. One captain. One cause. He raised a hand, and the next image appeared. A black prototype ship, the one that silenced the council fleet, was shown, hovering over a peaceful planet. It did not fire. It did not threaten. The ship was never meant to exist. We built it when we realized your council feared our anger more than our weapons. Elias turned his head. So we gave you what you feared most. One of the council members stood again. So you admit it. You admit Earth built an illegal warship designed to strike fear into the council? Elias nodded. Yes. Then why shouldn't we destroy your species? Because we didn't fire, Elias said quietly. We could have. You attacked our children. You killed families. You crossed every line. He stepped back and spread his arms. But we gave you silence. The chamber was still again. And that's what you truly fear, he said. That humans are not just fighters, that we're thinkers. That we can choose peace, even when we have the power not to. A young alien diplomat in the gallery whispered to another. They didn't strike back fully, because they wanted to prove a point. Elira felt cold, because the more she watched, the more she realized something terrifying. Humans didn't rage blindly. They chose when to rage, and they chose not to. Even after a tragedy that wasn't weakness, it was terrifying control. The video showed the final decision. Council votes appeared on the screen. One by one, Earth, banned from academia, humanity, isolated. Reason. To advance in unstable ways. Morally unpredictable, and with that vote the human was escorted away. He didn't struggle. Only one thing was heard as the doors closed behind him. A whisper caught by the surveillance mic. You'll come to us again. When your order breaks. When your machines fail. When you need willpower more than law. The video ended. Elira didn't speak for a long time. Professor. Kren finally broke the silence. Now you understand? Elira nodded slowly. They weren't banned for breaking rules. They were banned for reminding us why we made them. Kren stood, and we buried the truth. Because if students like you knew it, the entire council structure would collapse. Elira looked up. Is that why the videos were locked? Yes, Kren said. But now, The locks are breaking. More students are accessing them. The galaxy is restless. Empires are falling. The AI systems are failing, and whispers are spreading. Whispers of what? Illyra asked. Kren's face darkened. Of Earth. Illyra looked down at the terminal. Her hand hovered over another file, unopened, labeled File 4, the turning silence. Before she could touch it, Kren placed a hand over hers. Think carefully. The more you see, the more they see you. Lyra's voice was calm. Let them. Behind them, in the shadowed upper corner of the room, a small silver drone turned its lens. It clicked once, twice, and sent a signal to Earth, far beneath the surface of the old human homeworld. The signal was received. A buried satellite lit up. For the first time in 200 years, an automated voice echoed in a dark chamber. Council contact detected. Level 3 awakening initiated. And somewhere, someone woke up. Not fully human anymore, but still loyal, still watching, and still waiting. Illyra sat alone in her room. The lights were off. The stars outside, Zarnith Prime, sparkled gently. Her eyes weren't looking at them. Her gaze stayed locked on the screen in front of her. The next file had unlocked itself without her touching. File 4, the turning silent status. Active, unmonitored, unauthorized. Dangerous, the warning meant nothing now. She pressed play, and the screen didn't show war. Not this time. It showed nothing, just space black. Silent for almost a full minute. The screen remained empty. No words, no music, no ships. Just the endless black between stars, then dash movement to flicker. A single black shape emerged from the dark, slowly, like it was part of the void itself. No lights, no engine trail, just a human ship. It hovered without making a sound. There was no sound at all.
Not even system beep.
The audio was dead, silent, but that made the next thing even worse. From somewhere inside, the recording a heartbeat was heard. One slow thump, then nothing, then another. Illyra's skin changed color, deep silver, the levering color of dread. Screen zoomed in. This ship was different. It wasn't the warship from the last video. It was older, larger, scarred. And then she realized something. It had no name, no serial number. Just one symbol painted across its hull, a child's handprint. In red, her breath caught, and the voice began. Not from the screen, but from inside her. Headset, personal, direct. We gave them silence. But silence was never empty. Silence was a warning. The footage shifted again. This time it showed a council prison asteroid. Guards sleeping. Systems idle then. The black ship appeared. Above the facility, no attack. No message, just presence, and every single system on the asteroid shut down. The prisoners screamed. Guards fell unconscious. All without a shot fired on the control deck. Anir tried to warn the council. Unknown vessel has breached perception. Filters, countermeasures failing. Probability of survival, 0%. But the ship never attacked. Instead, a voice came through every speaker on the station. A human voice. Mail.com. We do not come to destroy you. We come to make you remember. Then the screens inside every cell turned on, playing the same footage from the banned archives. The burning of Earth colonies. The death of human children. The silence that followed. The prisoners wept. Some of the guards surrendered without even being threatened, because the worst fear was no longer death. It was being seen by something that chose not to kill you. Illyra sat frozen. But then, the footage changed again. This time, it was live. Her screen split into multiple windows, showing a different part of the galaxy. Every screen had one thing in common, the same black ship, above a council capital, near a border station, drifting. Over a science moon, always watching, never firing, never speaking, just waiting. Ripple passed through galactic systems, species who had laughed at humanity, have stopped trade convoys, Academies locked their archives. The fear spread quietly, just like the silence. And on a broadcast from a council colony, a young alien reporter asked a question that no one could answer. What do they want? The screen showed a human symbol next. A simple one. An open eye. And a whisper followed. We want you to see. Alira closed the file. Her hands were shaking. She looked at the small terminal now flashing red. Access detected. Mutation traced. Her time was up. Then came a message. Private, direct, untraceable. They know you watched. It will come for you. Run. It wasn't signed, but a symbol glowed behind the words. Earth. She turned to leave, but found Professor Kren waiting at the door. You opened file 4, Kren said quietly. Alira didn't deny it. Kren didn't look angry. She looked tired. Saw the truth. Now the council will silence you. I'm not afraid, Alira replied. Kren gave her a small nod. Then you're ready. She handed Alira a tiny black crystal. What is it? The next part, Kren said, but you can't view it here. Too many eyes, too many ears. Where, then? Kren stepped aside and looked toward the window. Earth, she whispered. If it still exists. Across the stars, deep inside. The ruins of the old solar system, hidden in the asteroid belt. The black ship powered down its engines. A message blinked inside. Alira connected. Trust, pending. Then, from within the ship, a voice asked quietly. Another one woke. Up. Should we reach out? And an even colder voice replied, No, let her come to us, if she dares to understand. The final silence. The ship was old, very old. Its engines were cold, but its sensors were active. Hidden in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, the vessel looked like a piece of space debris. But its hull was thicker than any known metal. Its systems were. Built from a time before most species could speak, its name was not recorded, no. Signals were sent from it, but it listened. And now, the ship had found someone worth watching. Alira stood inside a dark shuttle bay, on the hidden side of Zarnith Prime. The black crystal from Professor Kren was clutched in her hand. It pulsed softly, as if alive. She didn't know who would meet her. She didn't know what was waiting, but she had already decided she was going to Earthor. What was left of it, the shuttle took off in silence, hidden from the eyes of the Galactic Council. As the stars passed outside the small window, Alira opened the crystal's file. There was no video, just audio and a voice. You want the truth? Then hear what they buried. The recording began with the voice of an old council member 1. From the early years, right after humanity was first contacted, they are unstable, unpredictable, emotionally volatile. And yet, they learn faster than any species we've ever known. Another voice replied calmer, colder. If they keep learning, they will surpass us. The first voice hesitated. Then we stopped teaching. There was silence on the tape. Then the words that followed froze Alira's blood. Let them grow wild. Let them burn each other out. Deny them access to our systems. Block their ships. Rewrite their history. When they finally destroy themselves, we erase what's left. Alira's breath caught in her throat. She understood now. Earth wasn't banned because of its danger, it was betrayed. The Council had feared Earth's potential, so they poisoned its name. It's blocked its growth, starved it of knowledge. But humanity survived anyway. And now, as the galaxy remembered why it feared. The silence. The ship's AI spoke again. The final file is visual. Viewing is irreversible. Do you consent? Alira pressed yes. The screen showed. Earth, ruined, ash-covered, still rotating under a dying sun, but then zoom in. A deep crater, a buried city. Underground lights, still blinking, and a heartbeat. Someone was alive, deep beneath the Earth's surface. In a cryocamber, surrounded by steel and dust, a man lay sleeping. Sensors blinked around him. Monitors tracked his vitals. His name, Elias Rain, the same man who stood before the council trial decades ago. The man who delivered silence. Then vanished. The camera feed zoomed in. His eyes moved under his lids. He was dreaming. The screen showed. Flashes from his mind. The council fleets. The burning of Earth colonies. The faces of lost children. The moment he chose not to destroy them all, a final voice whispered in his head. They buried the truth. But they could not bury you. Back on the shuttle, Elira stared at the final message on the screen. Earth never wanted war. Earth wanted respect. When it was denied, it didn't scream. It whispered back. Now the silences. Over, the crystal dimmed. No more files, just stars ahead. The shuttle entered the Sol system 2 days later. She saw the broken moon, the shattered orbiting satellites, the burned-out Mars base, and then Earth still spinning, still silent, but not empty. The ship that had been watching her. For days now moved. The black ship, it didn't fire. It didn't block her. It guided her in. The shuttle followed. The atmosphere, down through gray clouds, past lightning and ash. To the last human city buried under the soil. Her ship landed with a soft hiss. No guards came. No weapons locked on. Only a door opened ahead. She stepped out alone. Inside lights flickered. A corridor of steel greeted her, and there at the far end stood Elias Rain. He was older now, but alive. Eyes. Sharp, he said nothing. He simply turned and walked into the next chamber. Elira followed. It was a large, circular room, walls covered in screens, each showing news broadcasts from across the galaxy. Panic, whispers, fear, council leaders holding emergency meetings, species demanding answers. Elias spoke for the first time. You watched the files? Elira nodded. You understand now? Nodded again. Then you have a choice, he said. Turn to them and lie, or stay, and help rewrite the truth. Elira took a slow breath. She looked at the screens, then at Elias, and replied, I'm staying. Far above Earth, the black ship transmitted one final message. Phase 2 initiated. Truth is waking. And all across the galaxy, those who once laughed now sat in silence, waiting, fearing, and remembering what they chose to forget. The council called it an emergency peace session. But behind closed doors, it was something else. A silent admission, quiet surrender. Representatives from over 60 alien species gathered on the floating city of Vectress 9. No banners flew, no anthems played. The council hall was stripped of its golden tapestries. Even the guards were reduced. No one felt proud today. At the center of the table, the Varnax Prime speaker stood. Once arrogant, loud, and mocking, he now looked old. His feathers had dulled, his voice was soft. He opened the meeting with words that had not been spoken in over 2 centuries. Let the record show. The council requests contact with Earth. No one interrupted. No one laughed. Far away on the remains of Earth, Elias Rain stood atop a ruined tower. Beside him was Elira. She no longer looked like a student. Her posture was straight. Her eyes no longer trembled with uncertainty. A small communication beacon sat on a table between them. It was ancient, simple, meant for only one thing, a reply. Elira looked at Elias. They finally asked for peace. Elias gave a quiet nod. They waited until the fear outweighed their pride. But what do you want? She asked. He didn't answer right away. He turned to the sunrise, even through the ash. In clouds, the light touched the earth with gold. I want them to feel what we felt, he said. Not hate, not revenge, just wait. The weight of silence. The price of arrogance. Apology they thought they'd never have to give. In the council hall, a giant screen lit up. Every delegate held their breath. A message appeared. Transmission. Incoming origin, Earth. And then the screen came to life. It showed no soldiers, no weapons, no black ships, just a monument, dark stone, a flat circle on ruined ground. In its center, a single human handprint. Pressed into the stone there was no voice, no demands, just an image that lingered, a quiet symbol of endurance, of pain, of patience, and finally, of truth. The Varnax speaker stood. He walked forward alone, and in front of billions watching across the galaxy. He bowed his head. Not to a king, not to a god, but to a memory. He whispered one word into the microphone. Sorry, like on Earth. The handprint monument began to glow faintly. The old systems buried beneath. The soil detected the signal, a new energy activated, the heartbeat of Earth. Sped up. Weeks passed. The black ships remained silent, but they no longer hovered in warning. They now drifted with open bays, inviting small ships to land. Leaders from peaceful worlds sent envoys. Not to demand, not to inspect, but to learn. One by one, species who had once mocked Earth now sent quiet gifts. A golden crystal from the Lorens, containing the stars humans once named. A song from the Talari, written in the key of sorrow. A book from the Directori, titled To Those Who Waited. Without fire, each item was placed at the base of the monument. No speeches were made, no cameras rolled, just silent offerings. Alira walked among them one day, her fingers brushing the surface of each gift. Beside her, a new generation of humans, young ones. Trained not for war, but for truth, followed in silence. She stopped at the latest offering. A child's drawing. It was simple, crayons on old paper. It showed a council alien holding hands with a human child. Alira smiled. Elias Rain stood behind her. It's beginning, he said. Alira turned. Peace. He shook his head. Understanding. Then he looked up to the sky. The silence worked. But now it must end. On the last day of the cycle, Earth sent one final message to the galaxy. A soft broadcast, no encryption, no threat, just a sentence. We remember everything. And we are still here. The stars shifted quietly. The galaxy kept spinning. But the laughter stopped long ago in its place. Respect, and a truth the galaxy would never forget again. When humanity stopped speaking, it should start listening.